This is a retake tutorial video for the second unit test that we have taken so far, and this is over activities 6 through 8. So if you have scored less than an 80 on the unit test, you can retake for an 80. We will be going over the questions from the test so you would understand where you went wrong. So let's look at the first question. In the figure below, line E is given to be parallel to line F. So let's highlight those two. And line G is parallel to line H. What is the relationship of angle 7 and angle 11? Now if I look at those two, they form a C. So they are same side interior angles that add up to give you 180. So same side interior angles. That means that the measurement of angle 7 plus the measurement of angle 11 is 180. Same side interior angles are supplementary and they form a C. Let's move on to the second question. In the figure below, line E is given to be parallel to line F, and line G is given to be parallel to line H. Which of the following answer choices represent alternate interior angles? So alternate interior angles are congruent. They form a Z. So let's look at angle 10 and 11, which is the first option. 10 and 11 form a C. So they are same side interior angles and they add up to give you 180. So that is incorrect. Angle 2 and angle 3. Angle 2 and angle 3. These are also same side interior angles and they add up to give you 180. So that is incorrect. Angle 4 and angle 7. These form an X. They are vertically opposite angles. So these are vertical angles that are congruent. So that is incorrect. Angle 14 and 11. So 14 and 11. These two form a Z. And because angle E or line E and line F are parallel, that means that angle 14 is going to be congruent to angle 11. They form a Z. And they are alternate interior angles, so that is the correct option. Let's move on to the third question. What is the slope of a line perpendicular to the line, which is the following line? Now remember, if two lines are perpendicular, so that's the symbol for perpendicular. It means they form a 90-degree angle. Then their slopes are opposite reciprocal. So let's look at the equation that they have given me. They have given me an equation written in the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, which is 3 over 4 over here, and b, which is the y-intercept, it is -3. It is called a slope-intercept form because you can get the slope from the equation, and the slope is 3 over 4. Now the opposite reciprocal is going to be having an opposite sign. So if this is positive, then the opposite is going to be negative. Reciprocal means you have to flip the fraction. So the reciprocal of 3 over 4 is going to be 4 over 3. So it's -4 over 3. Which is this option. Now let's move on to the next question. What is the slope of a line parallel to the line y equals -2x plus 7? Again, this equation is given to me in the slope-intercept form. And the slope in this case is m, which is -2, the coefficient of x. So the slope is -2. Now, if two lines are parallel, so that's the symbol for parallel, then their slopes are equal. So they have the same, their slopes are equal. So that means that they have the same slope. So if this line has a slope of -2, then the line parallel to this line would have the same slope of -2. So that is the correct option. Now in the next question, they're saying in the figure below, line E is parallel to line F, and line G is parallel to line H. So same question as before, but different. So same given as before, but different question. So the measurement of angle 7, which is this one over here, that's 105 degrees. And they're asking for the measurement of angle 6. Now if I look at the measurement, or if I look at angle 6 and angle 7, these are same side interior angles. They form a C. Same side interior angles are supplementary. So if angle 7, that means that the measurement of angle 7 plus the measurement of angle 6 is 180. So to find angle 6, or the measurement of angle 6, you simply do 180 minus 105, and that's going to give you 75 degrees. So that is the option. Let's move on to the next one. Write the equation for the line parallel to this line. So remember, if two lines are parallel, that means that they have the same slope. And because this line is given to me in the y equals 4x plus 9, so which is the slope-intercept form, that means that the slope is 4. So the line that's parallel to this line will have the same slope, which is equal to 4, and goes through the point 0, -5. Now this is a special point because the x value of this point is 0. That means that this is going to be the y-intercept. Now y-intercept means a point on the y-axis. Let me show you if we want to sketch this point. So if I want to sketch this point 0, -5, that's going to be the point. It is the y-intercept. It means it's on the y-axis. So if the x is equal to 0, that point that they have given me is going to be the b value in my equation. Y equals mx plus b. Because I have the slope, which is 4, and I have the y-intercept, which is -5. So the equation is going to be y equals 4x minus 5. So always look at the point given to you. If it is the y-intercept, use the form of the equation y equals mx plus b. If it's just any point, then you use the point slope formula. But because I have the slope, because these two lines are parallel, it means they have the same slope of 4, and it goes through the point 0, -5, so this is the y-intercept. I immediately use the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, 4, and the y-intercept is the y equals -5. Now in this problem, they're asking me to write the equation for the line that is perpendicular. So lines that are perpendicular have opposite reciprocal slopes. So if I look at this line, it has the slope of -1/3. So the opposite reciprocal is going to be opposite, so it's going to be plus. And reciprocal, it means instead of 1/3, that's going to be 3/1. 3/1 is simply just 3. So if I want a line that is perpendicular to this line, I have to find the slope of this line, and then the slope of the perpendicular is going to be the opposite reciprocal. So if this is negative, the opposite is going to be positive. If this is 1/3, the opposite is going to be 3/1, which is 3. So the slope is 3. And this line goes through the point 3, 6. So this is any point. It's not the special point, which is the y-intercept. So in this case, I use the point slope form because I have a point and I have a slope. The point slope form is y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. The m is the slope, and that is equal to 3. I just found that. And the point is going to be the point given to me, 3, 6. And I can label this point, so I can simply just plug it in my equation. So 3 is x1 and 6 is y1. So if I plug it in the equation, y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. So y minus y1, which is 6, equals the slope m, which is 3, so I just plug it in, and then x minus x1, which is 3. So that is the point slope form. I look at the answer choices and I don't see that. So what they want me to do then is basically just distribute and combine like terms. But this is a correct equation, but it's not any of the answer choices. So I need to distribute and combine like terms, and then I compare again to the options that I have. So distribute the 3, that will give you y minus 6 equals 3 times x, that's 3x. 3 times negative 3, that's negative 9. And then I add x to both sides of the equation. So I get y equals 3x, negative 9 plus 6, that's negative 3. So this is called the slope or the point slope form. And this is called the slope intercept form. So if I look at the answer choices to see which one matches what I got, and that is it. Now let's move on to the next question. I need to solve for x. So I can see that those two lines are parallel because they gave me the symbol of parallel. So if I look at those two angles, these are same side interior angles because they form a C. And same side interior angles are supplementary. That means if I add them, so if I add 50 and 2x plus 6, that should give me 180. So let's combine like terms and solve for x. 50 plus 6, that's 56. And then if I subtract 56 from both sides, I get 180 minus 56, and that's going to give me 124. So 2x is 124. And then I divide both sides by 2. And if I divide by 2, I get 62. So x is 62. So I have to decide what's the relationship of the angles given. And these angles can either be supplementary, it means they add up to give you 180, or they're going to be congruent. If they form a C, then they are same side interior angles and they are supplementary. Let's move on to the next question. In this question, I need to solve for x as well. So I need to look at the angles given and decide what relationship they have. So these are the two angles given, and I can see that they form a Z. So these are alternate interior angles and they are congruent. Congruent means they are equal to each other. So if I simply just set them equal to each other, I can solve for x. So alternate interior angles are congruent. So let's go ahead and solve for x by isolating the x. So 68 equals 6x minus 2x, which is 4x plus 28. And then if I subtract 28 from both sides, I get 40 equals 4x. So if I divide by 4, I get that x is equal to 10. So that is the correct option. Let's move on to our last question. And this is a proof where I have to fill in the blank. So given that C is parallel to D, m is parallel to n, so we always start with the given. And then they said that 4 is congruent to 5. Now I need to fill in the blank. So let's look at 4 and 5. What do they form? 4 and 5 form a Z. So these are alternate interior angles. So then it's the alternate interior angles theorem. And that is the correct option. So in order to fill in the blank in a proof, just look at the angles or whatever they are doing in that step to decide what to fill in for the reason. Now I hope that this video was helpful. Now before I let you go, I would like to review all of the options that you might get when you have two parallel lines. So every time you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, you can look at a Z. So for example, if I have angle 1 and angle 2, I can say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So that's the alternate interior angle theorem. They are congruent. Now if I have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, if I look at those two angles, these angles form a C, so they are same side interior angles. So the theorem tells me that the measurement of angle 2 plus the measurement of angle 3 is 180. So these are supplementary angles. Now again, if I have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, if I have those two angles, then these form an F. We call those angles corresponding angles. So corresponding angle postulate, and that tells me that angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. So you form an F. Now other things that we have learned in the past is that if we have an X, then the angles that are vertically opposite from each other are called vertical angles. So let's say if this is 4 and 5, I can say that angle 4 is congruent to angle 5. And these are vertical angles. And we call this theorem the vertical angle theorem, so VAT. If I have a straight angle, and I have like a line that, or maybe like a ray somewhere here. So if this is like angle 4 and angle 5, I can say that the measurement of angle 4 plus the measurement of angle 5 is 180. And we call 4 and 5 linear pairs. So this is a good review of all the angles that we have almost learned this year. So I hope this video was helpful and I hope you do better on the retake.